Hey everybody, welcome back to Chicago Reacts. My name is Michael. I'm an actor here in the city of Chicago, and I am joined by the ever-brilliant, the always talented, looking good in those glasses today, man. Are those new or?
Newer. I think I've only worn them on the channel for maybe a few times now. I'm Zach. I'm also an actor here in the city of Chicago, soon to be worldwide. And what are we doing today, Michael? What are we checking out?
Today we are back with Chicago Reacts, and we are checking out how it feels to suffer in SFM. Spooky. Behind the scenes. Juicy.
And guys, this is Team Fortress 2 video. And we've been reacting to the Lazy Purple series on how it feels to play X character. We've made it through, I think, about half of them now, and it's been awesome. We actually played some TF2 today on our Twitch live stream, which was a ton of fun. Come join us there, Chicago Plays, if you haven't done so already. And these videos, just for me, are just, I'm starting to get more and more into the universe, the world that is Team Fortress.
Yeah.
And seeing it in any new light is always fun, especially when there's gameplay involved. Because that's what we're starting to break into.
Yeah, very fun. Very fun.
Yeah, man.
All right. So let's dive into it.
Let's dive in. Let's do it. All right. How it feels to suffer.
To suffer.
You like using the silly spells in Team Fortress 2? Well, so do I. But isn't Halloween supposed to be scary? Then what's with all this having a good time bullshit? Listen, man. For your sake, I hope you don't do it. But if you really want a scary time, drop TF2 for a bit and visit its deranged
Look at how many hours. Did you see that?
Software section.
What?
Did you see how many hours he had played?
Oh no.
3,600.
Oh.
This program haunts me in my dreams, and I know it's trying to kill me. But the amount of glitches I experienced while making How It Feels to Play Engineer, I'm telling you, this shit's possessed. Gather round, all of you. This Halloween, I have a frightful story for you. The story of the time I had to add the Wrangler to a Source filmmaker scene. My story starts with a prayer. Please, Valve, please update Source Filmmaker so that it doesn't use a 2008 version of TF2. Why do you curse me to manually animate things as simple as picking up engineer buildings and using the Wrangler? But they only responded with Dota Counter-Strike. I didn't understand. So onwards I pressed to manually animate the Wrangler. The Sentry Shield it's its own model.
Are you liking this Banjo-Kazooie music that's playing in the background here? Did you ever play Banjo-Kazooie? On the N64?
No.
Iconic soundtrack.
Oh, yeah?
And we got some Banjo-Kazooie background. Just take a listen. You'll appreciate it.
Model. But this godforsaken laser! This laser has stolen so many hours of my life that I'll never get back. How, you ask? Listen to my tale of woe. I began by importing the laser, but alas, it was pink! That's not right. It needs to be red. So I Googled how to color it. Turns out that it's controlled by what I like to call Source Spaghetti. But first, a quick explanation. This is a control point. It represents a point in space and can be used to move and rotate objects. Particles usually have very simple control points. Medic's beam has 2 control points, one for where the beam starts and one for where it ends. However,
that makes sense.
The Wrangler laser has this 3rd control point that controls its color?
What?
And this is where the Source Spaghetti starts. This control point's positional X, Y, and Z coordinates correspond to the laser's red, green, and blue values using a scale of -255 to +255, which necessitates the equation X times 2 minus 255, where X is the RGB value that you want. What? You didn't get that? That's because it makes no fucking sense! Even if you don't get it,
just the idea of that has
no matter
made
what
me...
I did with Control Point 2, the laser's color never changed! Well, I said, this isn't my first rodeo. Surely I can fix this in a jiffy. But how wrong I was. Firstly, I went into the particle editor to see if there was a color value in there. Eureka! There was! But no matter what you do to it and its surrounding values, nothing happens. Then I wondered, just a moment, the laser is pink. And when a texture is missing in Source, the default replacement is pink and black. maybe the particle's texture is missing or broken. So I asked all throughout town if someone could please lend me their version of every file related to this laser. I imported them into my directory, and it was still ping! By then, I was banging my head against my keyboard and finally decided that it's time to concede and verify the integrity.
If this doesn't make you appreciate Lazy Purple's commitment to making these damn videos for y'all, you got some issues.
Yeah.
You got some issues, dude.
And if you've never edited or done any like VFX stuff, I feel your pain, Lazy Purple, because man, you can run into so many little snafus of just like, oh no, I clicked a button. What did I do?
Right.
Why isn't this working? I watched a video and it said it works like this and it's not working. Why isn't this working?
And the thing I'll say, anybody can, spend 30 minutes to an hour researching, messing with some, and figure out how to use VFX in some regard.
Yeah.
But that's why, for perfectionists like Michael and myself and Lazy Purple, and why making content as a perfectionist and as someone who wants to do it right can be a nightmare.
Because you got to get it right.
And that's
and
why,
then you're up until 3 a.m.
Yeah, you have made no progress.
This laser fake?
No progress.
Oh man.
Yeah, man.
I hope. Let's see where this goes.
Leave the game cache, reinstall the whole program, and deal with all the bugs that causes. But even then, it was still ping. At this point, I couldn't help but think, all this wasted time being a perfectionist when I could just use a different laser. So I installed this custom laser from the workshop that is supposed to be a Star Wars blaster. It's a model instead of a particle, so it took a while to customize it. It doesn't look great, but it works, right? Wrong! When the camera looks at the laser from certain angles, it just disappears!
What? No.
Then I tried using this laser particle, and I don't even remember what happened with this one, but I assure you it didn't work! So we're back to this laser. After brainstorming with other SFM villagers, I imported the laser into a different map and realized, what the fuck? Why is it blue on this map? And that's when it hit me. Every map has a different default point where things load in when they have no other point of reference. You can see here that Badwater's default point is somewhere below Red Team's spawn. It has no rhyme or reason. The Wrangler laser has been loading in and using the default point on the map for its control point 2 value. It's a different color on every map, but it doesn't change no matter what I do. So I figured, alright, my program is successfully reading the control point 2 value, but just not changing it. Alax friend, can you please take my SFM project, move control point 2 to make the laser red, and then send it back to me? He promptly sent me this in response. That's right, his computer couldn't even handle the project, so he had to make a new project that was just the laser on Badwater, which I then had to import into my project, which is its own scary, unintuitive process. But finally, here we are. It works. Despite reinstalling the program, despite verifying the game's cache, despite replacing the particle files outright, my control point 2 is just irreversibly broken. My theory, there's a ghost in my machine. But hey, at least it worked eventually, right? But that's not the only thing I had to do manually. Once a sentry gun is placed, it stops being a gameplay object and just becomes part of the scene. That means that I have to manually control its shooting, which means manually adding each individual muzzle flash. That's right, I had to copy and paste like 50 sets of these muzzle flashes and then manually tell the program, this muzzle flash occurs 1/20th of a second later, and this muzzle flash occurs another 20th of a second later, and this muzzle flash occurs another 20th of a second later, and this muzzle flash occurs another 20th of a second later, and this muzzle flash occurs another. Then, after doing that, I have to lock each particle to the barrels of the sentry gun individually. Truly nothing comes for granted in this program. You'd think that adding Uber charge would be a simple process, but it isn't. The default Uber in SFM is broken for some reason and always flashes like it's about to end. So you have to go download some cube map fixes. Thank you so much, SFM community, and put those in the right directory. Looks good to me, but what about the weapons? And the hats? Huh? That's right, you have to manually change every single model's material that you want to be ubercharged. And sometimes it doesn't even work. Not only is this a time-consuming process, it's semi-permanent. Since you're actually changing the files themselves, scary, you have to be super careful or else you'll be asking yourself later on, why the hell is this pyro like half Ubered here? See these buildings? They're not actually in Source Filmmaker for some reason. They're like ghost buildings or something. I had to manually add replacement buildings myself. Nothing comes for granted in this program. But you want to get really scared this Halloween? Imagine rendering a scene you've slaved over for hours, and it comes out like this. If you ever want to get into SFM, my friend, please remember the acronym ABAF. All beards are fucked. Something about the way these things are textured doesn't mix well with SFM. Usually there's a fix for these beards on the workshop, but I guess not enough people use the grizzled growth? Anyway, at complete random, the beard will become some crazy neon color. And you want to know something funny? It uses the same color as the Wrangler laser uses via the map's default point. Isn't that funny?
What?
So what was my solution? Simple, really. If I render out the glitched frames individually, one at a time, manually, the beard is fine. Sounds simple if not time-consuming. Let's see how many I had to do. 462 individually rendered images just to fix this beard in one scene! And sometimes it's not even consistent. Here you'd think that the color is based on the beard's position, but look at this shit! It's blue in this camera, but green in this camera! Eventually, my friend, I could take no more, and I just asked the guy who fixed the Allfather if he could fix the grizzled growth, which he did! The moral of this scary beard story is, please don't be afraid to ask people for help!
Yes.
Oh, but friend, I've scary stories to spare. Look at this scene. Simple, right? Well, this is what it used to look like! These lights are Satan! They have caused an issue in every video. For the spy video, I spent a full 10-hour day trying to get rid of these lights that would bleed through all the walls. After that day, I knew not to ever try anything with these demon-possessed lights. But in this scene, I had to. I used a program to remove literally every light from the map, and you won't believe it! These lights are Satan! Eventually, a villager from the SFM Discord discovered that you just have to type ent_fire space env_lightglow space kill in console. What does that even mean? I'm certain that a ghost has possessed my computer, but it doesn't always make itself obvious. Sometimes the glitches are small, like the time that this blood decal's position didn't update when I played the video forward, but it worked when I played the video backward.
What?
And then sometimes when I render something, every other frame becomes a blue mess. Definitely a ghost. And half the time I import a custom map, Source Filmmaker just breaks all its lighting. Classic ghost stuff. This one is fixable, but when even the guy making the tutorial says,
"This is the Hammer editor, and it honestly terrifies me. I can't do anything with this."
I can't say it makes me very hopeful. Of course, the program does make my life easier sometimes. Spline curves are pretty good at automating some animations, but other times they put the spirit of the devil into my characters.
Add spline curves.
Oh my god! I just wanted to go from this to this. A 180-degree turn. It's simple. But for some reason, the program thinks that the most efficient way to do this is a freaking backflip! Back ye demon! Get out of my sentry gun! Thankfully, the program has a built-in stress reliever. Whenever I find myself getting exhausted, I just move the character's pelvis to the beat of whatever music I'm listening to for endless entertainment. Truly, countless hours have gone into trying to fix every single little mistake and glitch in all of my videos. But, since you've made it to the end of this video, I think I'm gonna let you in on a little secret. There's a mistake in the engineer video, and it will probably ruin your entire perception of it. In this scene where I build a mini sentry on this scout, I don't have the gunslinger equipped in the SFM animation! Ah! Hey, it's me. I have a t-shirt now. You can find a link to it in the description. I also now have a secondary channel, so please subscribe to that as well. The suffering in this video was made possible
That
by
is,
Ziki
like-
Brisbip.
Yo,
Damn.
applause for like all the work that Lazy Purple does and Source Filmmaker to make. I mean, I think in every single video of what it feels like to play whatever in TF2, we have commented like, oh, that moment that he recreates like an actual story, like an actual thing that happened in TF2 is so good. And to know the amount of time that he puts into it, 10 hours to fix a bug or something like that, like just means like just kudos, because those moments make the video, and he puts so much time and energy into it.
I just like, I mean,
You got to give him props.
Yeah, it's like, I think a lot of other people, like with the flashing light thing, or with the pink laser thing, they probably would have just came up with some excuse to not fix it after putting in the, like, they would have came up with
like,
something.
I'll just
right?
keep fine. It'll just be pink.
Yeah, or
whatever.
like with the light. All right, well, we'll turn it into a disco scene, or when the sentry turret flips does the 180 spin, but at a 270 degree on the z-axis as well. I mean, again, that's why in order to make really good, memorable content, I feel like oftentimes 99.9% of the time, it's a perfectionist at work, and they have a very clear vision, and they won't let anything get in the way of that vision. And I truly think that goes for every show, not just for Lazy Purple, but for any TV show that you see. It's the culmination of maybe several perfectionists working at once, but quality content requires much more effort and time and resources than you may think.
Well, I think just a shout out to the audience and to Lazy Purple's like Patreon supporters, because you got to be able to invest the time into figuring out all those bugs, and sometimes depending on your setup, like you have to be able to ask yourself, or you have to be able to decide, is it worth it to fix this, or is there an easier solution that's just like, is it worth abandoning this thing, and not worrying so much, like.
And I think it's awesome too, like the fact that Lazy Purple was able to make an entirely different video with different content for us too, to show his behind the scenes stuff. Like that's cool. Like that. I think that now anybody that watches his content, whether they're watching it retroactively or whether they're watching his new content that drops, now we're going to be watching it with that much more, like, being that much more impressed with the end result, understanding a little bit more about what goes into everything that he creates. So I thought that was really cool that we get his commentary about his moments and his relationship with the game, but then we get his commentary with his frustrations and his commentary on, hey, these videos that you guys love and get millions and millions of views, just so you know, this is every second of love, every second of sweat, every second of blood, that all goes into it. And I do this for myself, but I do it for you guys as well. And that's cool to see.
Yeah, definitely.
It's cool to see.
Yeah, I love going on that journey with you, Lazy Purple. Thanks for sharing. If you like this video, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel so you don't miss anything else, and leave a comment in that comment section down below if there's anything else that you want us to check out.
Or let us know about a passion project of yours that kind of reflects something similar to this. I mean,
what's a perfectionist hang up that you've had that you sunk hours and hours into? I remember my brother and I made a Nerf video. It was like we were special agents, but we edited in Nerf bullets to like that we would like when we'd shoot the gun, we would edit in Nerf bullets, and it was but it was so much fun, you know.
I have memories of back when it was the first short film that I directed where we actually had a substantial budget. And I remember sitting in with the editor, and we had actually filmed the first half of the film in the fall. And because a bunch of snow came through, and then we had some issues with locations, we had to film the second half of the movie in the spring. So we actually hired on an editor that basically one by one, like, colored the leaves different colors. We had to match how we shot it, like where we had the camera. We had to redraw all that on location. And then, I mean, it's crazy what editing can do, how it can completely change your mindset and belief. And again, like if you don't know, we've also reacted to content by Maxor, and we always praise the editing there too. It takes a lot of not just time but love from these creators, because it's not something that they feel good about releasing anything less than what is perfect to them. And the fact that they keep fighting the good fight for all of us is just awesome.
So share those perfectionist stories with us in that comment section down below,
and we'll see you guys next time
on Chicago Reacts.